Hello friends, and welcome to our video on your guide to the UC application. I am your host, Miss Erica of Futurology, and we're here to just walk you through the UC application. I did mention I'm from Futurology, and just to recap who Futurology is a team of college and career counselors here to help you through college and career readiness, preparation, etc. We serve all students at the district. Each high school, has a school counselor. And over at Aliso, we have Miss Wen. Over at Capital Valley and San Clemente, you got me, Miss Erica. Over at Dana Hills and Tesoro, you have Miss Rengifo. And over at San Juan Hills, you have Miss Yazdani. And the great thing is all four of us have experience reading the UC application and also other colleges and universities. So we do have admissions experience. So you are also just getting from a team of experts who know the application inside and out. To just recap a few things about the UC system. The University of California consists of 9 different campuses across the state. You might have heard of these, such as UC Irvine, UCLA, UC Berkeley, Davis, etc. And we have 9 different campuses, and these are public research universities. And you also want to make sure that you meet UC eligibility. UC eligibility consists of completing a sequence of your A through G requirements. So that's 2 years of history and social sciences, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of laboratory science, 2 years of a foreign language, 1 year of visual and performing arts, and 1 year of a college prep elective. In terms of academic eligibility, you must have a C or higher in these courses. Your UC GPA is determined both by your unweighted and weighted A through G courses between 10th through 11th grade. Minimum GPA requirement for the UC system is a 3.0. However, that is not a guarantee that you will be admitted. And if you have any questions about your A through G eligibility, you can scan the QR code as you can see here, or you can also click the link in the bio to schedule a one-on-one with your Futurology counselor. All right, so the important website to bookmark and to keep in mind is apply.universitycalifornia.edu. This is where you will find the UC application. And before we get started with the UC application, there's a few things we just want to take care of. So first, before you start on the application, you also want to create that UC Apply login. It's very simple to do. You just go on the website and you just go ahead and create an account. And when you create an account, you'll have this pop-up populate, and you will enter in an email address, and make sure it's an email address you will be regularly checking. You also want to confirm that email address to make sure UC knows that it is the correct one. You want to also create a very strong password. And of course, just click on the box to agree to terms of use. Creating an account does not take too long. And just remember to also save your login info as well. Also, personal information. So you just want to just make sure that you have access to your social security number, ITN, etc. You also want to make sure that you have addresses and other information you will need to enter in to your UC application. You also want to connect with your school counselor to get your high school transcripts. And if you've taken any classes at Saddleback or IVC, you also want to have access to your college transcripts. You can just go ahead and log into your IVC or Saddleback portal to view your grades and courses that you've taken if you are taking dual enrollment at these institutions. You also will need parent information, so you might need where they work, job title, approximately what is their annual income, so how much they make per year. And you also want to have ready a list of clubs, activities, hobbies for that extracurricular section. These are just very helpful things to have in front of you as you're going through the application process. All right, the UC application consists of different sections. So first is the About You section. So this is just background information that has your name, contact information, etc., where you live, etc. The second point, the second part of the application is campuses and majors. So this is where you're going to select which UC school you want to apply to. And you're also going to select the majors within each of those UC schools that you would like to take. The third section is academic history, and this is the lengthiest part, in my opinion, of the UC application. This is your time to enter in your A through G classes between 9th grade to the present. You'll also be entering your in-progress coursework as a senior and also courses you have planned. For the fourth section, test scores. The UC system is test blind, so they will not be using test scores for the sake of admission. However, if you still want to enter your SAT or ACT test scores, you may do so in this section. If you have AP scores to report, you can also enter these in this section, and you can also do the same for IB scores as well. The fifth section is activities and awards, though this is also another section where you will also need to enter in information. So again, just going back to that checklist item about just having a list of activities, hobbies, clubs, organizations that you've been involved in. This is where you're going to enter all that information in. The next section is scholarships. The UC application has a section where you'll mark off which scholarships you might be applicable for, and it depends on a few factors, and each school has different offerings of scholarships. So I would suggest clicking through to see which ones you would qualify for in that scholarship section. The next section is the PIQs. This is better known as the essay section of the UC application. You'll answer 4 prompts, and this gives the UC admissions readers a better sense of who you are. And the final step, you'll be given a chance to review your application. So you want to make sure that everything you entered in is correct. And also when you hit submit, you'll also have the opportunity to pay your application with a credit card or a fee waiver. All right, we're going to get started with the UC application. So you're going to go ahead and follow along with me as we go through the UC application website. So first things first, once you've created that account, you're going to select the term that you're applying for. And you're going to select fall quarter or semester of 2023. So that's about a year from now when you'll be starting your first year at the University of California. That's what you will be indicating. Your application level is freshman. You're currently in high school, or you'll be graduating high school by the time fall quarter semester starts in 2023. Save and continue. All right, let's get started on the application itself. So, personal information. Basically, you're going to enter in your name as it appears on your official school records, IDs, passport, etc. So first, middle name, last name, and if you have a preferred name you would like to go by, you could also enter it here as well. This is how the UC admissions folks will be addressing you if they need to reach out to you, if they need to send emails to you, etc. If you've had a different legal name before, you can also indicate that on here as well. And you will also indicate your birthday right here, month, day, and year. And you also will indicate where you were born. You will also enter in your home address in this section. So where you currently are living, you will enter this information here. And you'll indicate if this is an okay address to send mail to. You'll also enter in what is the best phone number to reach you. You can either fill in your landline, your home phone number, or if you feel comfortable giving out your mobile device number, you can enter and indicate that on here. And you could also enter in an alternative phone number for contact purposes. And if you also would like to share your information with UC programs and campuses, you can also indicate that here. This has no impact on your admissions decisions. This is just if you would like to receive more information about just various programs and UC campuses. Save and continue. We're going to skip this page for now, but if you are missing information, if you are missing information on the application, you'll see this orange notification here, and it'll highlight what else they would need. You'll also enter in your country of citizenship. If you are undocumented or AB 540, you'll click no selection. If you have a U.S. Social Security number or an I-10, you will also indicate this on here as well. If you are a part of a tribe, you will also have an opportunity to indicate this here. And then also you will indicate if you will be graduating from a California high school, and if you have been in a California high school for at least 3 years between K-2 through 12. This will determine that California residency for admissions processes. All right, demographics. And for clarification, these aren't used for admissions data. It is illegal to admit based on identity. So this section is more for just data and more for just getting demographic information. So we just go here and just click that what would apply. I'll just scroll here just so you can be familiar with what's presented here and what you can indicate. Okay, save and continue. And also, you'll also indicate what language did you learn to speak first. So if you learn a language other than English at home, you can indicate that here. Please tell us more about yourself. And if any of these apply to you, you would click here, but if not, you can also click none of the above. And if you are a child, if your parent is part of the U.S. military, if they're a veteran or if they're still active, you will click that here if it applies. Okay, this is where you will also just confirm your home address information, and you will also enter your parent information. So again, going back to that checklist, you want to make sure you have parent information ready to go here. And you would also enter in your parent income here. Just put a number right there. And how many people are supported by this income. So if you also have siblings living with you, any other family members living with you that are supported by this income, you will indicate this here. And this will also include yourself. So if I have 2 brothers or sisters, and I have 2 parents and a grandma, so that brings me to a total of 6. Save and continue. And again, just getting back to that parental information, you'll indicate that information here. And what is their current job status? And this will also, you'll also enter in your parents' what they're doing for a living, what is their highest level of education, and what is their contact information, so first, last name, email address, and if they are living with you. So it's also very important to have that information ready to go for this section. The next section here is the statement of legal residence. This section just confirms your legal residency in California. So this just makes sure and confirms that you are eligible for California tuition as opposed to non-residency tuition. Okay, and you can go ahead and just review your information here before we go on to the next section of campuses and majors. So before you go on to campuses and majors, you will review the UC values statement here. And once you're done reviewing the statement, you can click on the box here to acknowledge the statement of values. Save and continue. And you'll just go ahead and just confirm that the information in here is correct, fall quarter semester 2023, and that you'll be applying as a first-year freshman. And this is a section where you will be able to choose which campuses you want to apply to. So I'll just pick a handful here. And this will also tell me what the cost of the application will be. So the cost of the application is going to be about $70 per campus. And if times 4, because I selected 4 of them, it'll tell me that I will owe the UC application $280. However, because of the previous sections I filled out here, they might also determine whether or not I qualify for fee waivers, and that's determined on parental income. And this is a section where I would determine my majors per campus that I've applied to. It's also important that I know the name of the major of which campus I want to apply to, because sometimes those major names can differentiate between campuses. It's also important to also do some research if there's any additional supplemental information, application materials I need for a major. So example, if I'm going to theater, I might need to do an audition. So it's also important to be cognizant of those aspects as well. So if I wanted to choose a major, for example, UC Berkeley, I would just go in here and I would just select my first choice. So let's say bioengineering. And if I wanted to do an alternate major, a second choice, that's what I would also pick here too. And you can also see that's just some of the majors have notes on here just to kind of give you some reminders. Okay, save and continue. And also, one of the unique things, if you're applying to UC San Diego, you're going to determine which colleges you're going to rank colleges within the UC San Diego system. So my best suggestion is to know which major is associated with with what college, and you're going to rank them accordingly. So you want, of course, number 1 is going to be the college that will be associated with your major. And you also want to be cognizant that each of these colleges will have different graduation requirements. So it's always a good idea to just research this information before you apply. And I also have the section here that I can review. And I can also review what majors that I have selected and what majors that I still have not selected. All right, we're going into the most in-depth part of the application, and in my opinion, the longest part of the application. And this is the academic history section. So here gives you an introduction, just you can briefly read what it is. And it may ask for 7th and 8th grade courses, and you may have some 7th and 8th grade courses that might be applicable to the UC A through G requirements. So this can be a math class like geometry or a foreign language class like Spanish 1, and you can definitely enter in those classes. However, because the UC only looks at 10th through 11th GPA, they will not factor this into the GPA, but these courses will count towards A through G. Here, you will enter in your high school information. So you will enter in your complete high school history. If you have transferred to another school within the past 4 years, you'll also enter that school in here too. We just want to see a complete academic history between 9th grade to 12th grade. So in this section, I will go ahead and enter information here with my classes, but first things first, the nice thing about the UC system is, the nice thing about the UC application is that you can search for your high school. So let's look up San Clemente. select. Hey, for high school information, I just want to make sure that the information here is correct. San Clemente High School in San Clemente, California. And just also wanted to indicate what kind of specialized curriculum we might have. So example, we have CCA, so Career Pathway Academy, and we also have an International Baccalaureate program as well. When did I attend this high school? So I would use my start date, which is the month and the year, and including the end date. So this is the date that the last month and the year where I will be graduating. And then here we have what grades did I attend this high school. So if I went to San Clemente High School for all 4 years, I would indicate all 4 years here. And you would also do the same if, example, you've transferred from another high school into another high school. I will also indicate what is our grading system. The district uses A, B, C, D, F. What is our term system? Our district uses a semester system, and if this is a school that we will be graduating from. And I will also indicate if I'll be receiving a high school diploma, and what is the estimated date of graduation. When will I receive that diploma? So for a lot of you, that's going to be May 2023. So this is where I would start entering the grades I received in each of my A through G classes. So again, UCs aren't looking at example PE. They're looking more at what falls along the lines of the A through G course requirements. And I would click here. So this is 9th grade, enter courses and grades. And this would populate a list of courses that were offered to me in 9th grade per section. So example, World History Honors, and I would also indicate the grade first semester and second semester. And I would do the same for English. Save and continue. Now, if I've taken dual enrollment, if I've taken courses at colleges, say Saddleback or IVC, this is where I would add said college. So let's say if I took a class at Saddleback, select. So if I attended, for example, Saddleback College, let's say I attend Saddleback College as a summer class this year, 11th grade, going into 12th grade, I would indicate my start date and my end date. And I would indicate 11th grade, took it during the summer. And I would indicate what was the grading system. And it's usually going to be A, B, C, D, or F. If it was a credit, no credit, I would just hit in other. And if I took a class at Saddleback, I would also look for the class here that I took during the summer. Okay. Yeah, for 12th grade, what you're going to do here is you're going to indicate whether they're in progress, so that's this semester's course schedule, or if they're planned, that's your spring schedule. So for example, History and Social Science, let's say I'm taking AP Government this year. This semester, this fall semester, it's in progress. Also, you will also find out what your California state ID number is. This is usually on your high school transcript right at the top. And this will tell me if I'm missing some school courses because we're just doing this for sake of tutorial. I only did a few. So this will tell me if my course data entry was incomplete. And if there are any additional comments, anything you would like the admissions readers to know about your academic history, you would also indicate that here. Okay, And you can also use this section to review what you have entered in just to make sure everything looks according to your transcript. So that high school transcript that you'll be getting from your counselor, this will be very helpful to complete this section. Okay, let's move forward to the test score section. So in this section, you'll enter in your SAT subject test. If you need to know what your scores were, if you've taken the subject test, you can always log into your College Board account to get that information. If you've taken any AP exams, you'll use this section to indicate if you've received your scores for your AP exams. So you can go ahead and add here. And you can either indicate whether it's been completed, or if you're, say, for example, in AP Government right now and you're planning to take that test in May, you would also indicate that here. All AP exams are usually in May, so I would just enter in May of the following year if you're currently enrolled in an AP course and plan to take the exam. IB exam, so if you're in any of our IB courses and you're planning to take any of the exams or have completed them, you could also enter that here. You can go ahead and just review what you've indicated. And again, SAT and the ACT are not required for UC admission, but this is just a really good way to just enter in your test scores for AP exams, etc. AP exams are not a determination, a factor for admissions, but however, if you do get accepted, at least they have on record what you received on your APs. Your grades for your AP courses, your grades for your IB courses will weigh in a lot more than what you scored. All right, so activities and awards. So this is also going to be a data entry section for you, and it'll also be helpful to have a separate window where you can copy and paste your activities and awards. So activities and awards, these are clubs, sports, volunteer organizations, hobbies. If you have any responsibilities at home too, you can add those into these section. So just basically activity award. Let's say I play a musical instrument. Let's say I'm in a chamber ensemble and I play the piano. So that would be an extracurricular activity. What is named an activity? I will probably have the name of the club here. So chamber ensemble. What did you do? Basically, I would just have a brief description of my role here, of what I did at that club. I don't have to describe what playing the piano is like. All I need to do is just say something to the lines of, I played piano and I have all of this whole section to write more. So I have about 340 characters that I can use to just briefly describe what I did with that club sport or activity. What was my role? Did I have any leadership? Did I attend like any special events associated with that club or activity? And when did I participate in this activity? So I can indicate like all the grade levels that I've spent at this club. How much time did you spend with this activity? I would just use your best guess best guess here. So let's say I've met like every day for an hour. So that's probably about like 5 hours a week. Weeks spent per year. So let's say I did this during the school year. So I'm going to just basically say, all right, so summer we have about like 5 weeks in July. We have about another like 5 weeks in June and 2 weeks in August. So like, okay, 52 weeks minus 12 and a couple of breaks. So I'm going to say like, okay, maybe about like 3 weeks This is just going to be more of an estimation number. So 30 weeks during the school year. So we're not discounting summer, we're also discounting various vacation weeks. And I can also add like another activity here. I could add in link crew. I can add in sports, anything I've been involved in onto this section here. And this is a great way for admissions readers to know who you are outside the classroom, what do you do outside of school, etc. And I can also review my extracurricular activities here as well. The next section is scholarships and programs. A lot of this will be pre-populated based on the universities that you've applied to, and they're based on just different things. So if they're based on academic major or interest, affiliations with various groups, this can be a pretty long section, so I would just take some time on it. And basically, these would be scholarships offered by the university if you are admitted. So I would just check mark all the things that would be applicable to you, and just take your time with it. And you could also go ahead and just review in this section which scholarships that you've indicated that you'd be interested in. All right, this is a big one. The personal insight questions. We also have additional support and videos on how to write college essays, so I'll be quite brief about the personal insight questions. So basically, this is the intro page here. Personal insight questions, think of it as more as an interview with the UC system. This is a great way for them to also get to know you outside your grades, outside the classroom as well. And basically, you'll be choosing 4 different prompts. You'll be given 8 different prompts. And I would advise working on those prompts prior to starting your UC application, just so you have like a working draft or even a final draft of what you want to indicate on here. Basically, again, the dialogue is very conversational. So write as if you were talking. Don't rely on a flowery language. Don't rely on fancy narrative structure. It's very succinct and to the point. And again, we have more videos on supporting you on the personal interest questions and other college essays on our YouTube channel. So basically, you would select 4 of these questions presented here. And if I wanted to answer, I would use this space to write in my answer. If I have it on another Word document, I would use the space to copy and paste my final draft as well. Now, this section is for additional comments and anything else you would like the UC system to know about you in the context of your education. This is a section where you can write about any COVID difficulties. Example, maybe your grades have dipped earlier on because of learning online. Maybe you've had some health issues during high school. Maybe it was difficult to participate in extracurricular because of lockdown. And you can also use this section to just indicate what else you would like the UC system to also know about you when they're reading your application. The UC is a holistic admissions review, and not only they're looking at your grades, you're also looking at who you are and what kind of a person you are in terms of leadership, contribution, and just well-roundedness. And this will also just give you a chance to review the personal insight section. The next section here is review and submit. So this is your last chance to just review your application to make sure that it's good to go. So you can just scroll down. Because this is a tutorial, some areas here are going to be incomplete, but you can use this section to just do one final check of your grades, test scores, activities, personal insight questions before you hit submit. And when you start the submission process, that's when they'll pre-populate payment information, as well as if you qualify for fee waivers. If you qualify for a fee waiver, they will give you about up to 4 fee waivers for the universities. Okay, that's about it for just going through the UC application. So let's get back into our slides here. All right, so after I hit submit, what else can I change? Can I change anything? Contact information. So example, if you moved in December, or if you're going to do a big move sometime in the next couple of months, and you want to update your information, you can definitely update your contact information. Changes in grades, changes in your schedule. It happens to us. So you can also use this section to make any changes with your schedule. Example, let's say you're planning on taking AP Environmental Science in the spring, and you decide to just drop in the spring. You can also make that change there. You can also add additional campuses. So like, example, I just met with UC Santa Barbara, and their program sounds really awesome. And dang, I already submitted the application. Oh, I can add UC Santa Barbara? All right, let me add that. And you just go through that same process of selecting majors as well. And if you need to add any exam scores, you can also do that as well if there's any additional exams you need to add on there. All right, what happens after you submit? Remember, you will need to remember your UC application number. So if you have any questions down the line, and if you need to talk to a UC rep, you can use your UC application number so they can help you right away. And when you register and when you apply to a UC school, each of those individual UC schools will give you access to an application portal. And you will use this portal to check on updates with your application. So I would just suggest that you would just check your application portal regularly. Apply for financial aid. So to qualify for scholarships and to qualify for some scholarships and to also qualify for federal financial aid, state financial aid, I would advise filling out the FAFSA form or the DREAM Act form to determine eligibility for financial aid. We do have separate sessions, and we also have separate videos on how to go through the financial aid process, how to fill out the form. Decisions are typically mailed out via email, via your portal, via physical mail, sometime in March 2023. So be patient. March 2023 is usually and typically when the UCs will release decision information. And it's also important to know that the submission period, you can hit submit between the dates of October 1st and November 30th. November 30th is that big application deadline day. And it's also the same deadline day as the CSU schools. So definitely keep that November 30th date on your calendar, because that is the absolute last date to submit your application. And if you need any help with your application, if you have any technical questions, you could always email ucinfo at applyucsupport.net. Definitely have your UC application number at the ready if you need to contact them, just so that you can get some help right away. Thank you so much for tuning in to our video on the UC application. If you have any questions, definitely book up an appointment with your Futurology counselor. You can book with us with the link in the bio. We're more than happy to help you with PIQs, A through G, eligibility, getting through that data entry on the application, questions about entering grades, questions about entering anything on the UC application. We're more than happy to help you. No judgment here.